Live from WSLS, this is 10 News Virginia Today at 6, working for you.
Remembering the day that many say was the beginning of the end of World War II. The ceremonies here and abroad honoring the thousands of men who died and those who carry on their legacies.
A California mandate rejection that will keep gas in your cars for a while longer. While Governor Glenn Youngkin is pumping the brakes on electric vehicles. Stephanie Gray, we do have some crazy video to show you this morning. Take a look at your screen right now.
Oof. My goodness, the tornado was not just confirmed on radar, but from a lot of video like that, it left a swath of damage of at least 45 miles, snapping trees, unfortunately trapping people in their homes. The NBC affiliate in Washington, D.C., reporting at least 5 people injured, one with traumatic injuries. Now, tornadoes like that are that large scale and long lasting, they're rare in the mid-Atlantic. So we'll get the survey results at some point in the next day or so. Meanwhile, here at home, the threat for severe weather is on a level 1, marginal, maybe a couple stronger storms east of the Roanoke Valley after about 1 p.m. or so. Right now, a few showers and storms approaching the West Virginia line, but the morning commute looks to be in good shape. As far as the D-Day Memorial is concerned, of course, the 80th anniversary is something we're talking about all day long here on 10 News. High temperatures in Bedford in the low to mid 80s. Some scattered storms a possibility between about 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. Beyond that, though, we turn breezy and dry Friday and Saturday. Few showers later Sunday. Your weekend forecast in full detail coming up in just a few minutes.
Breaking news overnight in Roanoke. A teen boy is now in custody facing second-degree murder charges after police say he shot and killed another teen. It happened at an apartment complex on Ferncliff Avenue just after 1 p.m. yesterday. Police say the teen was a suspect early in their investigation, and he knew the victim.
Today marks 80 years since D-Day, when Allied forces led by U.S. troops carried out the largest naval, air, and land operation in history along the coast of France.
The invasion, one of the most effective and costly missions of World War II. 10 News reporter Keisha Lynn joins us live from Bedford with what to expect at today's events.
Good morning. I'm standing in front of the entrance of the National D-Day Memorial. On the monument behind me are the words written Overlord, which was actually the code name of D-Day. There are also several flags of the countries that participated in the war. Thousands of people, they come here annually. The National D-Day Memorial says more than 2,500 Americans died on D-Day. That includes 20 men who were from Bedford, known as the Bedford Boys. Most of them were part of the first wave that landed on Omaha Beach in Normandy. The town suffered the greatest loss per capita of the invasion, which is one reason why the memorial was chosen to be in Bedford. The Bedford International Alliance was formed to bring awareness to the men who died in our area that day. I spoke with President Steve Rush about his organization.
The whole purpose of it is to make sure that the 20 boys actually will not be forgotten. And we do that by doing events every year. We do the Memorial Day event at the cemetery. We go into the schools or provide material for the schools, for the teachers.
The group also goes to France to visit the cemetery there, and it teams up with a sister organization in France. Members of the Bedford International Alliance are planning on going to Normandy next June, and members of the French organization will be here in Bedford in October. The Bedford International Alliance was founded in 1999. There are more than 100 members. Anyone can join, but there are annual fees. Now, the Bedford International Alliance will be at today's ceremony. They plan on participating by laying a wreath. Keisha Lynn, 10 News, working for you.
All right, thank you, Keisha. During today's ceremony, the National D-Day Memorial will take time to individually recognize each World War II veteran in attendance. That includes 95-year-old Dan Villarreal and 100-year-old Robert Emile Boulay. They shared stories and reconnected with fellow servicemen and women yesterday at a luncheon in their honor.
It's surprising to see all that's going on and all the people that are here. It's terrific. I mean, it's just a good surprise.
Today's ceremony starts at 11. Governor Glenn Youngkin and Attorney General Jason Miyares will speak along with several distinguished military personnel and historians.
After today's ceremony, the National D-Day Memorial is bridging the gap between the past and future with a new experience that you can see all weekend. It's called When We Went In, the D-Day experience in light and sound. This looks incredible. The 25-minute presentation uses illustrations, photos, film footage, and first-hand accounts of the invasion of Normandy. A team of 6 designers from Virginia Tech worked on the project for over a year.
Looking forward to with this? I mean, it's all your work kind of coming together.
Yeah, so our team has worked really hard to pull this together, and we've all been looking at it on screens this size, and so we're generally pretty good about imagining what things are going to be like when they're projected this big, but it's completely different when you actually see it in person.
Now, you have to buy tickets to see the show. We have a link on WSLS.com. I love the fact that they keep coming up with new ways to get generations that come up immersed in this, because we really have to carry on these stories.
Get that education going big time for our younger generation.
A treasured family heirloom belonging to a fallen Bedford boy now has a permanent place at the memorial.
10 News reporter Sydney Jacksheimer shares the story of the Hoback family, 2 brothers who lost their lives on the beaches of Normandy, and one whose body was never recovered until a piece of him did eventually make it back home, and we're talking about his Bible.
This is Bedford and Raymond Hoback, 2 brothers who were among those killed on D-Day. Along with this devastating news, the Hoback family also learned Raymond's body was never found. But something of his did make it back to the States, his Bible, found on the beaches of Normandy and mailed back to his family. The boy's younger sister, Lucille Hoback Bogus, keeping it safe all these years later.
We have a part of him. The last thing he probably held on to was a Bible.
That was until this year, when the family made the decision to gift the Bible to the National D-Day Memorial.
It definitely has brought peace of mind to my mother to not only be a part of the process, but know that it's safely stored.
So future generations can remember the lives lost on that fateful day, like Raymond's.
To see something that Raymond carried on the beaches that day, it just makes it very, very powerful, a very moving testament to his service and sacrifice, and something that we should all remember when we see it, what was given that day.
When you can come to a place that's peaceful, like this, and reflect on the loss, the human loss, the family loss, because that's the piece about war that is so critical to understand. It's not the loss of one person, it's the ripple effect that can span generations that loss can cause, the damage that it can cause.
Reporting, I'm Sydney Jacksheimer, 10 News, working for you.
President Joe Biden will be marking the 80th anniversary by spending the next few days in France. He's with the First Lady, and they'll join the French president and his wife for a number of events honoring the bravery and sacrifice of Allied troops during World War II. The White House says the president will deliver a major speech tomorrow over there that focuses on global threats to democracy.
Our live team coverage continues all day. We will live stream the ceremony from Bedford on WSLS starting at 11 o'clock. Then tonight at 5:30 p.m., we'll share more stories from people in our area and a 10 News special saluting service and sacrifice.
Virginia won't follow California's clean car standards anymore. Governor Glenn Youngkin announced he's leaving the electric vehicle mandate. The original plan was approved by the General Assembly in 2021. It would require all new cars be electric by 2035, though some of those could be plug-in hybrids. Washington, D.C. and 15 states currently follow California's mandate, but starting next year, the Commonwealth will no longer follow those standards, instead following the regulations set by the federal government.
The idea that unelected bureaucrats in California should be deciding for Virginians what car they drive is wrong.
This is the second climate change initiative Youngkin has pulled back during his term.
In our nation's capital, the Senate failed to pass a bill that would have guaranteed access to contraception nationwide. Republicans blocked the bill yesterday, claiming that it is unnecessary and overly broad. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer also voted against it, using the procedural move to allow the chamber to bring it up again at another time. The legislation would establish nationwide rights to obtain contraceptives and protect health care providers who offer it. The measure is part of a push to highlight reproductive issues as the U.S. marks 2 years since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
Time now 6:10. This is a live look at Normandy, where the D-Day Remembrance Ceremony is happening right now. How it's being remembered in France and here at home.
The D-Day Memorial in Bedford isn't done growing yet. There are big plans for expansion that's coming up new at 6:45.
And if you live with migraines, you know they can be much more than a simple headache. Why you shouldn't take over-the-counter medicine.
And this morning, we're tracking scattered showers and storms, mostly in West Virginia. Some of those are going to move over the mountains into our area, mostly this afternoon. We'll give you the hour-by-hour timing and your weekend forecast in just a few minutes.
June is Headache and Migraine Awareness Month, and if you've ever had a migraine, you know how painful they can be. You just want relief and quickly. A Cleveland Clinic doctor says it's unclear what causes them, but they can be triggered by food, stress, hormonal changes, some medicine, and disruptions in sleep. Now, the good news, there are treatment options that can range from lifestyle changes like altering your diet to medication.
Within neuroscience that has seen or witnessed magnitude.
That's because overconsumption can cause a rebound effect, meaning once the medication wears off, the migraine just comes right back. Not what you want after you think you have some relief.
Right.
Well, this is a great month to score some deals, whether you're gearing up for vacation or maybe just spending more time outside.
As 10 News anchor John Carlin explains, Father's Day and early 4th of July sales are right around the corner.
Circle your calendar because June is a great month to save money on top-rated products handpicked by Consumer Reports experts. Here are a few favorites in this month's best time to buy.
The beginning of June can be a really good time to find sales. There are a lot of continuing Memorial Day deals on things like large appliances and mattresses.
Those lingering Memorial Day sales include helping get a good night's sleep. The avocado green mattress, queen size, is available for as low as $1,699.15 at Avocado. This is one of CR's top-rated inner spring mattresses, acing its durability tests. Next, Father's Day is in the middle of the month on June 16th, so drill down your gift-giving ideas with, well, a drill. This DeWalt cordless drill is as low as $149 at Ace Hardware and Lowe's. And if Dad isn't particularly thrilled about doing more work around the house, consider getting him a new smartwatch. The Garmin Venue 2 Plus is as low as $299.99 at Amazon. And toward the end of the month, be on the lookout for early 4th of July sales.
The end of June tends to be when retailers will start their July 4th sales. That means you can get discounts on things like large appliances and grills especially, as well as anything else for your outdoor needs.
This electric pressure washer from Stihl is as low as $139.99 at Acme Tools. Finally, pro tip, if you don't have to buy anything in June, you're probably better off waiting until next month.
Amazon has already announced that Prime Day is happening, and that means other retailers will have sales too. So everything is going to be on sale for much better prices in July than you'll find this month.
Stash some cash in June, and we'll be back in a month with even more great bargains. In the meantime, have a great start to your summer. John Carlin, 10 News, working for you.
So Amazon hasn't announced specific dates for Prime Day, but confirmed its savings event for Prime members will happen sometime in July.
The 10 News Weather Authority, always watching and tracking for you from the JES Weather Center.
Coming up on 6:18 this morning, most of our area starting out dry, but it's patchy fog and the mugginess that's getting us started once again. There's a few showers in Highland County, Pocahontas County. The rest of the storminess is south of Charleston, north of Beckley in West Virginia. Now, as far as our storms today, there's going to be a few in the afternoon at the D-Day Memorial in Bedford for the 80th anniversary. Can't rule out some scattered storms up until about 2 or 3 p.m., but after that point, the chance goes down. Temperatures, meanwhile, low to mid-80s. So here's the front that's producing those showers and storms. It's a slow mover. Going to take its sweet time. Here's about lunchtime today, and you see that scattering of showers and storms still north and west of the Roanoke Valley. And what's interesting is that these storms tend to sort of jump the Blue Ridge Parkway, and once they do so, they stretch and have the potential to become a little stronger. That would be between about 2 and 5 p.m. in areas east of the Roanoke Valley, so Franklin, Bedford, Campbell, Appomattox, Pittsylvania, Henry, Charlotte and Halifax counties. Now, after 6 p.m., drier air starts to move in on the west side of the front, and we'll start to feel a little bit better by then. But right now, it is muggy, very sticky out there. Once the front passes through Friday and Saturday, when dew points are in the 40s, things feel more comfortable. We're still going to be warm Friday and Saturday, but at least we're not going to have to contend with a bunch of humidity. On the back edge of low pressure, another storm system forms. It's a weak one, not a ton of moisture with it, but a few showers will be possible as we head late in the day on Sunday. So most of the weekend's in good shape. The Roanoke Valley, high of 83 tomorrow and Saturday. We'll start with sun Saturday, more clouds later in the day. There's your chance for some afternoon showers. Sunday, heading into next week, still breezy at times, high 78 to 82, lows about 55 to 60. So really after today, gusty wind occasionally through at least the middle of next week. Lynchburg, 85 the high today. Your best shot of storms coming in after 2 p.m. One of those could be on the strong side, but briefly. High still in the middle 80s tomorrow and Saturday, just cutting the humidity out of the equation. 82 with a few stray showers Sunday, then highs next week, lower 80s, lows about 57 to 61 degrees. 6:20 now, keeping it in Lynchburg for another time-saver traffic report.
Crash-free, but we do have yellow conditions on 501 southbound Boonesboro to downtown Lynchburg. You got 23 minutes on your commute, so not too long of a commute. But again, yellow conditions, give yourself some extra time, and that goes for the eastbound lane on 460 as well. Timberlake to downtown, 14 minutes on your commute.
Today marks 80 years since the D-Day invasion. Team coverage of all the events honoring one of the most effective and costly missions of World War II.
Plus, it's log at first sight, how one artist brought his dream to life after a major storm.
A storm that hit Colorado last year brought down a giant log, actually a tree, setting the stage for a local artist to fulfill a long dream.
His name is Duncan Foss, and he waited decades to find the perfect canvas, and after woodworking for more than 50 years, he finally found it. Since then, Duncan has been chipping away, inspired by the royal barges of the King of Thailand, where Duncan lived during the Vietnam War. He's almost ready to bring the log to life at the Sloan's Lake Dragon boat race this summer, finally getting to carve his dream into a reality.
Man.
I mean, that's a lot of, you know, that's some good work right there. And for it to be smooth, I could tell he sanded it down. It looks really good.
I'd be afraid to touch it like that, because knowing me, I'd get a splinter, but he's really smoothed it out and everything.
It looks good. I can't wait for when he get the stain on it and stuff. Like, it's going to be really a nice little creation.
You ever see, like, in the center in the square, when there's the farmer's market, sometimes there's the
cutting
woodworking.
boards.
Oh my gosh, some talent there. Starting out with some showers, nothing damaging like that. He got a few showers in Highland and Pocahontas counties, some heavier stuff moving into the western half of Greenbrier County this morning. In the Highlands, your best shot of seeing scattered showers and storms prior to about 1 p.m. After that, things will start to clear out with highs in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. Then the weather clears out for Friday and Saturday. If you're planning on doing a little bit of fishing, Saturday's your best day. Sunday, even still not bad. Just a few showers are going to be a possibility later in the day. Lower humidity starting with tomorrow. Breezy at times. Morning lows this weekend in the 50s in the Highlands.
6:25, a final farewell. The somber service remembering a beloved firefighter.
Today marks 80 years since D-Day, when Allied forces carried out the largest naval, air, and land operation in history. How President Joe Biden is marking the milestone.
And we've learned the identity of the man shot by police after a chase in the New River Valley. But so many questions remain. 10 News working for you to get that information.
Statue. It's to remember the 20 men who died on D-Day who were from Bedford. It's just one of several statues that are here to remember the men who died and also served during World War II. Thousands of people, they come here annually to pay their respects. Today there will be a ceremony to remember the thousands who died during the invasion. I know, D-Day, not World War II. Oh, okay. Thousands of people. Testing 1, 2, 3.
We'll move over here.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thousands of people.
This is 10 News, Virginia Today at 6, working for you.
Happening now, world leaders gather in Normandy to remember the 80th anniversary of D-Day. The Americans being honored abroad and here at home.
The D-Day Memorial in Bedford has plans to expand. What could be coming in the future?
New details in the investigation of a police shooting in the New River Valley. what we've been able to learn about the victim.
The outdoor events for D-Day.
Yeah, I mean, we have the chance for some storms out there, much like we have over the past few days. You can feel it. It's air you can wear again this morning and about noon and 6 p.m. South side, most of your storms coming in after 2 or 3 p.m. today. Temperatures reaching well into the 80s. This front's going to pass through late tonight into tomorrow, so storm chances go down and wind speeds go up a little bit. Humidity, though, is not going to really be an issue for us Friday or Saturday. Good news for at least part of the weekend forecast. Highs in the low to mid 80s in south side. Chance for a few showers late Sunday into Monday. Aside from that, breezy at times with some pretty comfortable mornings after today.
Today marks the 80th anniversary of D-Day, when Allied forces led by U.S. troops carried out the largest naval, air, and land operation in history along the coast of France.
The National D-Day Memorial has a huge ceremony later this morning. 10 News reporter Keisha Land is live there right now in Bedford. Good morning, Keisha.
Good morning. Here is a statue of the Bedford boys. We're going to move the camera up so that you can see the full statue. It's to remember the 20 men who died on D-Day who were from Bedford. And it's just one of several statues that's here to remember the men who sacrificed their lives on D-Day. Thousands of people come to the National D-Day Memorial annually to pay their respects. Today there will be a ceremony to remember the thousands who died during the invasion. This includes 20 men from Bedford known as the Bedford Boys. The group, called the Bedford International Alliance, was created in 1999 to remember them. I spoke with President Steve Rush about why D-Day is important to remember.
We need to remember they were local boys. We lost the most boys of any community in the United States per capita. And in this day and time, you've got to continue to drill it into people about the boys and what their sacrifice was.
The town of Bedford lost more men per capita than any other place in America during the invasion. That's just one reason why the memorial was chosen to be here in Bedford. The Bedford International Alliance hosts various ceremonies year-round to remember the sacrifice of our local service members. The group also fosters international relationships with groups in France and in England, where the Bedford boys trained before the invasion. Members of the French organization will be here in Bedford in October, and members of the Bedford International Alliance are going to Normandy next summer. At the National D-Day Memorial, Keisha Lynn, 10 News, working for you.
And the memorial says this year could be the last significant opportunity to thank many World War II veterans publicly as they're aging. They're expecting thousands in Bedford today to remember what happened. Here's what to expect if you're going. The memorial opens at 7 a.m. along with the parking shuttles and events. So if you're going, leave early. Expect lots of traffic, and they have a clear bag policy this year. At 10:45, the memorial gate closes for the ceremony to start at 11. Now, there will be 5 flyovers planned for today, so you may see those wherever you are in the area, with World War II aircraft, along with recognition of D-Day and World War II veterans during an honor parade and roll call.
Representatives from each of the allied nations and military personnel will also be a part of the event. And if you can't come today, there are events all weekend, too. The D-Day Memorial isn't just growing, and it's not done just yet. They have plans for a place that will include a library and a conference room and exhibit areas for the artifacts that keep getting donated. They're also planning to build an amphitheater with space for 1,500 people to be used for military commissions, concerts, and community events. But for all of that to happen, there still needs to be fundraising.
A 96-year-old Navy Reserve veteran is preserving a legacy of service and sacrifice. Lee Anthony started collecting war memorabilia in the 70s, storing around his house, office, and even his church. And look at this. Now, more than 50 years later, he has thousands of artifacts from wars across history in a barn museum in Catawba. He says it's crucial to collect stories from veterans and tell them long after they're gone.
Who pay homage to those who have sacrificed for this nation. And the other then is a lesson, a lecture for those who are forthcoming, the new generations.
His collection features a large number of World War II objects, including a section paying homage to the Bedford Boys.
Now, something else that's interesting, the weather also played a big role in D-Day.
Yeah, Chris, talk about what happened. They had to make some really tough decisions around D-Day.
Incredibly tough decisions. You would have forecast briefings on the evening of the 3rd that were then confirmed the morning of the 4th, the evening of the 4th that was then confirmed on the 5th. General Eisenhower, part of these, and the invasion was supposed to happen on the 4th. But there was this storm system that we labeled number 1 that was just brutal along the coast of Normandy there. This intense low then moved north of Scotland. On the west side of it, the air was able to clear and allow the opportunity for the Allied troops to rush the beaches of Normandy on the 6th. In the meantime, there was a second system that was slowly moving. So this window of opportunity was very narrow. It pushed back the mission for Allied troops, but it also delayed the reconnaissance that the Germans were going to do. So once they were about to do that, the sky cleared up. Operation Overlord was already underway, but it was met with some challenges, okay? The weather wasn't perfect on the coast of Normandy there. You had a fog bank, and you also had the wind churning up some of the waves in the ocean waters. There are stories of Allied troops that were actually getting seasick as they were storming the coast of the Nazi-controlled France there. But without that weather forecast, history as we know it may not have been written the way it is right now. Even in the infancy stages of meteorology in the 40s, that forecast was a pivotal turning point in the D-Day mission.
Thanks for breaking that down, Chris. Our live team coverage continues all day. We will carry the ceremony from Bedford starting at 11 right here on WSLS 10 and on WSLS.com. Tonight at 5:30, we'll share more stories from people in our area saluting service and sacrifice.
Switching gears now, we got a West Virginia man dead right now after a wild police chase in the New River Valley ended with an officer-involved shooting, and something that we've covered extensively on air and online. 10 News reporter Abby Coleman pushing for answers to determine what happened.
A cross-county police chase that ended in the shooting death of one man all started right here at Light & Sons in Narrows. They're a U-Haul dealer, and if you look right here, this dolly is very similar to the one that was allegedly stolen yesterday. Now, there are still a lot of questions, but I've been working all day to get you answers. We now know the man in this video is Jason Lee McDuffie from Beckley, West Virginia. We chose to cut the video off before shots were fired, but police confirmed today that McDuffie was killed as a result. As a reminder, this is the route McDuffie took before police were able to bring him to a stop. You can see him go through 30 miles in the NRV before the shooting on Peppers Ferry Road in Christiansburg. The Giles County Sheriff's Office confirmed that it all started at Light & Sons, where the dolly was stolen. I wanted to talk with the owner to find out what went down, but he told me he was told by police not to comment. But I was able to walk over to where they keep all of their trailers. It's right off a busy road, and none of the trailers had locks. I rewatched the surveillance video. It went on for over 30 minutes. Around the 9-minute mark, police pulled McDuffie over. Only a couple minutes later, they shot him. Now, I sped up the video, but this is the next 20 minutes. There's no visible attempt to remove him from the car or get medical help. I wanted to know the reasoning behind that, so I called VSP.
I was just wondering if you could clarify any information as to why that would have happened.
No answer, but yesterday, here's what they had to say.
The subject driving the vehicle refused to comply with officers' demands, and there was a gun identified, and shots were fired by the officers.
Like I said, this is all still under investigation by Virginia State Police, and it is in its very early stages. So we'll let you know when we have any updates to give you. In Narrows, Abby Coleman, 10 News, working for you.
6:39 this morning. Most of the storms we're tracking in West Virginia, the air over us right now pretty stable, meaning that these storms are likely going to fizzle out, at least for the time being. But it looks like we see the chance for scattered showers and storms during your typical afternoon hours. I'm going to break down the location for those storms, plus once the humidity finally backs off, coming up in less than 10 minutes.
Our community is mourning after losing a hero. When we come back, we're honoring the life and legacy of Jeremy Compton.
And this is a live look from Normandy, France, where ceremonies are happening right now as we remember the 80th anniversary of D-Day. The American veterans being honored and what they say, why they say they're not the heroes.
I scream on the CNN and said so. I can always double check that.
So I don't know if this is important, but right now the news is going up a lot. So there's like concessions expire and put out now like this is a very awkward place. Right. Like why did they put up a press release? I know, but June 6th. Unless he did it in the interview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot hear much. They're not saying much, but yeah, I can hear it.
Hey. I can, Detroit. Sure, whatever works best for you guys. Yeah, no, I'm fine with whatever you want. We'll push in and show you the cemetery, and then you can roll some video if you'd like, or whatever you want.
Watch your step is next. To right? Where should we put it? On the tape. All of them, yeah.
I wish that we had that much attention to the actual shot. Jesus.
Safety. Lightning.
Sure. Yep, sounds good. All good. Okay. Has the ceremony started yet?
This is 10 News Virginia Today at 6, working for you.
The New River Valley is mourning after losing one of their own to cancer. The community got the chance to say goodbye. 10 News reporter Thomas Mundy attended the funeral and shares how many celebrated a first responder who embraced every day.
A final goodbye to a loved community member. Old father and husband Jeremy Compton. Jeremy was fighting cancer for over 3 years when he learned in November of 2023 the emergency departments from multiple jurisdictions who showed up to remember their old partner. And then, after sharing some memories and words, everybody said their final goodbye.
That was Thomas Mundy reporting. This Saturday in Christiansburg, there will be a memorial ride for Jeremy. You can find details on how to sign up or get involved at our website at WSLS.com.
The 10 News Weather Authority, always watching and tracking for you from the JES Weather Center.
6:45 this morning. Always nice to take in a game in Salem. The view is always pretty, and then this rainbow popped up and made it even prettier after some showers and storms yesterday evening. That's our picture of the day sent to us through Pin It on the weather app. Now, we have some showers, especially in Highland, Pocahontas, and Greenbrier counties. Pretty few and far between. Most of these are going to weaken as they move into the Highlands here this morning. But by 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, a few mountain showers can't be ruled out. Not a whole lot of thunder or lightning the track at that point. But future trackers showing the whole slow progression of these showers and storms. Here's lunchtime. Again, most of those are going to be near and to the west of the Roanoke Valley. And then these storms, what they do is they kind of jump the Blue Ridge Parkway. The Blue Ridge kind of acts like its own barrier there. And you see scattered storms between about 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. in parts of Bedford County, Lynchburg, Campbell County, Pittsylvania, Halifax, Henry, Franklin counties. But after 6 or 7 p.m., we're pretty much smooth sailing this evening, breezy at times. Covington 82 today, Pulaski only 75, but Danville 87. That's why I could stand to see a strong storm or two in the eastern half of the area this afternoon. Fast forward to tomorrow, temperature's still warm. It's June after all. Mountain 73 to 77. Outside of that, 80 to 85. But here's the difference. We're going to be drier, lower humidity, breezy at times too, both Friday and Saturday. So whereas today it's a sticky warmth, tomorrow and Saturday, more of a pleasant warmth by the afternoon. Showers may make a return to the forecast late Sunday as we track a much weaker front moving into the area. So the weekend's far from a complete waste. In the New River Valley, lows in the 50s, nice and comfortable at sunrise. Highs in the 70s this weekend. Increasing clouds, scattered afternoon showers a possibility Sunday. Then next week, more of the same. 50s for lows, 70s for highs. Breezy at times, overall pretty pleasant. From the New River Valley to the Roanoke Valley, 80 to 85 today with scattered afternoon storms. Then as we head toward tomorrow and Saturday, again, still plenty warm. Highs 83, but the humidity is not as much of a factor. And for that, we're thankful. 81 the high Sunday with some hit or miss showers and maybe some rumbles of thunder. By next week, lows 56 to 60, highs about 78 to 82 degrees. That's a check your forecast this morning. Let's hand things back over to Jenna and Jaffney.
80 years ago today, the course of history changed forever. The largest group of military forces ever assembled pushed across the western coast of France.
3,000 American soldiers, sailors, and pilots died in the first 24 hours of the D-Day invasion. Their sacrifice and that of so many others over the next several months is seen now as the start of the end of World War II.
Today, they're being honored at a ceremony at the American Cemetery in Normandy, France, the site of some of the most intense fighting. And that's where we find Jay Gray. They're live with a closer look at the event and the American heroes who are being honored there.
Yeah, Jana, Jaffney, good morning. Dignitaries, world leaders, President Biden here and expected to speak shortly. But it's clearly the heroes they've come to honor here who are the most important guests on this special anniversary. The men who stormed the beaches, the fighter pilots, those on the ships just off the coastline here, the veterans who've returned, and those that are marked by these white headstones, the ones who never had the opportunity to leave. They line up in formation, though most can't march or stand at attention anymore. Still, they move through this battlefield turned graveyard memorial, a visit that brings with it memories of their first trip here 80 years ago.
I'm reliving walking in on D-Day.
Staff Sergeant Jake Larson landed on Omaha Beach with the first wave of Allied soldiers, his unit peppered with machine gun fire as they scrambled to combat positions. Larson somehow making it across the sand without taking a hit.
How do you explain something like that? And these, my buddies are buried here. I'm 101 years old. It won't be long and I'll be joining them.
One of the reasons, for many, it's so important to be here. A chance to say one final goodbye and to honor those who never left.
We lost so many men. It's unbelievable. And the young people should know about this. And they really don't. So I had to say something.
So they share their stories, take pictures. Though most will tell you they don't care much for all of the attention. And even though they are, many refuse the label of hero.
I'm not a hero at all. Those guys that sacrificed their life are the heroes. I'm the result of their being heroes.
Truth is, they're all heroes. remembered for their service, courage, and sacrifice. Yeah, it's just an incredible honor and privilege to be able to spend some time this week with these men. I was struck by one of the D-Day survivors who spoke to me and sharing, as he pointed out at these white crosses, tears in his eyes, said, these guys, they were 17, 18, 19 years old. They never had a chance to have a family. But he said, because of what they did, I had a family. I had this long life because of their sacrifice. Ladies, it's a sacrifice honored here today.
Now, Jay, I can only imagine the amount of emotions you experience just meeting these returning heroes. Like back here at home, we're getting choked up just looking at your story. So can you tell us a little bit more about your visits?
It's just so special, and you're right, it is very emotional, and it's amazing the recall that they have coming here. This seems to bring back a flood of memories, not only from that time, but everything moving forward. And I think what really moved me the most is they're treated like rock stars here. People come up to them, they want to take pictures, they want to hear these stories. But what these men care about the most is sharing those stories so that what happened here doesn't die with them. They all, to a man, have acknowledged to me, I'm in my 100s. I'm not going to be here much longer, but they want to make sure what happened here remains forever. And even more importantly, what you hear from these men is that they want to make sure these guys, the guys marked by these headstones, are remembered as well.
Amazing, amazing, incredible stories, and we're so glad we get to honor them today. Thanks so much, Jay. This morning's top stories are up next.
Last check of our forecast today, chance for a few scattered storms at the D-Day Memorial between about 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. Lower humidity, however, making a comeback to the forecast starting with tomorrow and Saturday.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. And thank you guys for joining us.
Here is a live look at Normandy, France, where the ceremony is going on right now to honor our veterans and the Allied forces. D-Day coverage continues all day right here on WSLS 10. We'll live stream the memorial ceremony from Bedford.